Hola amigos, bien o no, y saludos desde Medellín. So, hoy el tema es por qué es necesario para pensar en las cosas que nosotros no hacemos bien, para reconozco algo partes que nosotros pueda mejorar. So, ese es el tema de hoy. So, hello again from Medellin, another marvellous afternoon. There we go. So the theme today is, where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong? And this kind of follows on from our thoughts yesterday, where we need to persevere, to keep going even when it gets a bit difficult with our language learning. And one of the ways we need to look at this is to be very honest with ourselves, which can be difficult, and to admit where we're making mistakes, where it's going wrong, and try and analyse why, and find some ways to help us improve that. So here's my suggestion for that. Think back recently to where you've been using the language, whatever that context is. Could be socially, your job, or whatever. See if you can find maybe five occasions where your use of language did not get the result you expected. It went wrong in some way. Either you weren't understood in that conversation, so you had to repeat it. Perhaps you didn't have the vocabulary you needed, so you couldn't express your idea or your opinion properly. It's possible there might have been a problem with the other person. Perhaps if you're having a conversation and they're just a difficult person to deal with, but that again could show you that you need more vocabulary practice, so you have a range of phrases you can use to help control those type of people. It could be things like your voice. Now, were you clear? Could you have improved the tone of your voice to improve your expression? Did you pronounce the word correctly? Maybe it might be something as simple as the spelling. You got the spelling wrong and that made you mispronounce it. So think of that. Maybe like 5 things that did not go well. And for each of those, think really carefully about what was that situation when it didn't go well. Visualize the scene. This is important. You need to visualize very clearly where you were when that happened, and think of all the different things that could have caused that to go wrong. Could be something really simple. You're trying to buy a ticket at the metro station. It's very noisy, and your voice wasn't loud or clear enough for the other person to hear your question. So then you had confusion, and that's when it all started going wrong. It could be a lack of vocabulary. So suddenly you were talking about a topic you're not familiar with, and then you were lost because you didn't know what the general conversation was about. It could be a lack of useful phrases. So you were in the right situation, but you forgot the phrase you need, to progress the conversation. Think of things like that. And then go back and, okay, well look, if I'm back at that scene, and this is why it's important to think very carefully about exactly where and when that happened, visualize the scene. So this was that conversation, let's say, that went wrong at the metro station. Visualize yourself back at the metro station. Think carefully and think about how you would say that correctly. Think of it like a movie. You're back in the scene, they're going to do another take. So what's your best line? How are you going to deliver that? Think of the emotion you need, how's that going to come across? Have another focus on that. Because clearly there's something in that situation that caused you to make the mistake. Because that's why that was the mistake and not something else you did later that day. So by going back and really trying to create a better ending to that conversation, that should help you for the next time you're there. deal better with that particular situation, because something in that situation clearly causes you a problem, as well as just mechanically helping you remember, there's that word or phrase I need to say a bit better. So it's kind of a two-part thing. It's thinking about what went wrong, but also where. So that when you're back in that situation, you should respond better if that situation repeats. So have a think about that one. 5 things that went wrong. What could you have done to improve it? Think very carefully about what was the circumstance of that situation. Put yourself back there. You're back in the movie. It's take 2. What would you say now? Give it a go. Déjame saber en los comentarios. But for now, from Regine, it's Cheerio.